Welcome, Night Wanderers, to Two Sisters and Scary Stories. I'm your host, Jules.
And I'm Flo. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was good. I mean, it went by so fast. I feel like this whole month, we're already like in August, and this whole month feels like it's going by so fast, you know?
I know. Next thing you know, we'll already be planning our Halloween, and then Christmas is right around the corner. So get ready to listen to those wonderful music that we hear every year. Like what is there? Like 15 repeated Christmas stories, yes, Christmas songs over and over again, different artists.
I
And
don't
then
know.
each year they come up with an album, different artist.
I don't know. I don't want to even think about it. I am excited about Halloween though. Halloween's coming soon. And I'm
Exactly.
sure all the stores have all the Halloween decorations already.
hmm Yes, actually, I did see some costumes the other day in one of the stores already. Because I guess as soon as school starts, Halloween, you know, decoration will be coming out. So I guess they're just slowly trying to introduce us to Halloween, you know.
We're just like in August, it's like back to school and then we go from there,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's how they sell stuff, right? If you do it at the beginning, people are going to be in that mindset and buying all these things. I mean, we used to create a lot of interesting decoration ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I love Halloween and
Uh,
I love making Halloween decorations because the ones that I see in store, not only they're expensive, but they're very
Cutesy.
yeah, they're turning cute to be, but not scary enough. Like I need scary decorations and they don't, I don't know, even though they're expensive, the finishings are not like the best.
Well, they do have some like good decoration in like stores like Party Cities or the Halloween decoration that only comes once a year. They have pretty good decoration, but the idea of making the decoration is just in a different level because you actually take care of it and you put your time into it and you get to decorate the way you want and all that craziness that comes with it to create something, all that late night screaming yelling and overall crazy experience. that's
Well,
what's you know that's what we miss basically if we just buy from the store.
yeah, the staying up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to make your own decorations. I'm sure some of our listeners would know if they're making their own decorations. I mean, I knew someone, one of my coworkers, he used to start his Halloween. He was so into Halloween, just like me, that he used to start his Halloween decoration in June. Like he was more crazy into it than I was.
Well, I'm going to assume that person does more than one decoration at a time, right? I mean, we used to start what in September, and we started like three, four projects at the same time,
Yeah.
right?
Well, what he did was he created a decoration, but that it was like huge. He would put it outside in his yard. Whereas when I create my decoration, I decorate inside of my house, right? So
Mhm.
his creation would be for outside for the neighbors to see. He had like the whole parts of the Caribbean themes and all those things, but he created all of that.
Oh man, I want to
So
meet this
and
person.
oh yeah,
Huh.
well, it was a long time ago. I would say over 15 years I used to work with him. So it was a quite a while, long time ago, but I did have a pretty good respect for him because of how much um attention he put into it. But anyways, what do we have for our listeners, our viewers today?
Well, today we're gonna do some Reddit stories. Um, some of them are pretty scary. Some are heartwarming, and some even thought-provoking. And those stories that go, interesting. You know, so we pick. you and I, we both picked different stories that we thought was, good to start off in the first episode that we're going to be doing. So the first one that we have is actually two stories in one. So let
So
me.
I just want to say that
Mhm.
for the listeners and the viewers that you chose your own stories and I chose my own stories. You don't
Yes,
know I chose, and I don't know what you chose.
no. And I'm hoping that it'll be different stories we pick. So there's no overlap of anything. So let me
I
get.
hope so too.
If not, I have backup, so no worries. So let me start with this story. Okay. So this person starts with their childhood, actually. I moved around a lot as a kid. We were the kind of family that would have boxes that would always go unopened and undisturbed between moves. My dad was a good guy, but he had issues with authority. So he usually had issues keeping a stable job for more than a year or so. When the lease was up, we moved closer to his new job. Anyway, during one of these moves, my dad found a steal next to his job. It was an old two-bedroom, one-bath house with a detached garage. I want to say it was around $300 a month for rent. This is back in 2003. Apparently, it was in a rough part of town. The landlord told us, I won't go into specifics, but I am required to tell you that someone has passed away in the house within the last 5 years. My dad saw a great deal and shrugged it off. We moved in soon after, and things started very quickly. There were noises in the house all the time. It was like we had other people living there. It would generally be noises that you expect when other people were around. Things like drawers opening and closing, doors swinging around on their own, water turning on in the bathroom and then off. Nothing malicious was happening, so we just lived with it. Another weird quirk about the house was that the front door had a keyhole on both sides. So you would not leave the locked house unless you had the keys. So I'm guessing this is the European style. You know
Yeah, I
how,
was thinking the same thing too.
like,
But but I just want to say the scariest part of this story so far is the price of the rent.
I know, $300 a month for two.
That's
If I get something like that in this economy, I wouldn't care if there were demons. At this point, I would be like, you had me sold. You don't even have to tell me who got murdered. You know what I mean?
right.
So
300 for two bed. That's like the scary part right now.
I
Like
know,
the
I
first
know.
thing I thought, I was like, what, 300? I'm sold. I don't
That's
care what's
I'm guessing that's why the father is like, okay, I have no other, no other problem with this place.
all right, go
But
on.
so just to let your viewers know who don't understand the European style of door, so both sides you have to use the key to either open or lock the door. So if the key is missing, you're done for, basically, unless you have a backup. Anyway, you can probably guess where this is going. But not a week or so after we moved in, we lost the keys. Okay, so
Well, you predicted pretty the prediction was pretty accurate.
oh yeah, boxes still littered the house and we were still unpacking everything. So my dad, obviously stressed from the whole situation, started getting loud about the keys. He accused me of stealing them. He was cursing and being a general pain in the butt.
Mhm.
Then, out of nowhere, we hear the keys hit the floor in the living room right in front of the couch, right onto the floor. Hmm. He picks them up, tries to rationalize just what happened, say F it, and leaves the house for work. Over the next few months, the stupid keys are the center of the activity. My dad would put them in a glass bowl on top of our tube TV every day after work, and somehow they would be moved by the morning. My favorite spot by far was when we found them in the sealed box of pots and pans that we needed to unpack. It had those little handle holes on the side of the box, and it's like someone just shoved them right into the hole out of spite. We all got a good laugh out of that one. Right now, you're probably like, oh, what's spine chilling about some noise and some keys moving around? Well, here you go. The worst thing that happened fairly frequently was the stomping. Most nights around 2 to 3 a.m., which most people call it as witching hour, there would be very heavy footstep pacing in the hallway around outside of our bedrooms. I confirmed with my dad when I was older that yes, it kind of freaked him out too. We had been living in this place for about 8 months at this point, and I was probably around 8 years old. I heard stomping one night, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I screamed in the hallway, "Stop stomping around! I need to sleep! God damn it!" 15 seconds.
That's a brave 8-year-old.
I think because it's happening every single night, he just got really,
Frustrated.
really frustrated. I mean, I would be too. Someone disturbed my sleep every night, right? 15 seconds of silence was abruptly interrupted by what sounded like a bull running full speed to my room. Uh-oh. Then my door had three very aggressive
Wow.
slamming knocks, one after another. It was so loud, my dad woke up and came to check on me. My stomach started to turn, and I suddenly felt like I had to use the toilet. I was frozen in bed when I heard my dad call out to me, "You okay, buddy?" From his bedroom. I would be doing the same thing. I'm not getting out of my room.
The father's like, I will save you from the safety of my room.
Exactly. I'm not getting out of the hall until I make sure you're okay. If you don't respond, then we're done for.
Yeah, I'm still safe here, but I'll save you
Exactly.
from my room. Ah,
Exactly.
geez, that's hilarious.
Uh, from his bedroom, I mustered up the courage to head out to the hallway. As I got up, I could tell something wasn't right. I was shaking like a leaf, and my bowels were trying to evaluate while I was walking. I ran as fast as I could to the toilet, but it did not help. There was a trail from about halfway between my bedroom and the toilet, and my poor dad, worried about my safety, followed me into the bedroom to figure out what the hell was going on. I explained everything, crying on the toilet, making a mess of myself and the house. I was embarrassed and terrified. After this, my dad told me, if you ever feel uncomfortable, you can come sleep in my room. Nothing can bug you when I'm around. The final straw came a week later. My dad had been dating a girl for about a year, and she had been staying with us for more and more. One of the nights she stayed over, they had a really minor fight right before bed. I think it was about cleaning and chores. Anyway, they both went to bed grumpy about it. Right around 2 to 3 a.m. mark, his girlfriend got yanked out of the bed by one of her ankles and got
Oh,
dragged out of the bedroom and down the hall.
nope, nope, no. That is one of my, oh my
A
God, no.
terrifying nightmare.
Ah, that is something that I do not wish upon anybody. That is, whew, I
I
got
know.
chills. No, 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 no.
Imagine you're sleeping and something just pulls you out of bed and you don't even
Oh,
see that thing.
oh no, I can't.
It's
Oh,
like
okay.
oh, that would have freaked her out. I mean, I would have told the boyfriend, I am done. I'm going home. I'll see you never. Bye-bye. I hope she left the house. Anyway, by her account, she woke up after she was on the floor and felt someone pulling on her leg. And it took her a while to realize exactly what was happening. She shrieked and whatever it was, let go. She ran back into the bedroom and turned the lights on and explained the whole thing to my dad. He sent me off to an aunt's house and stayed in the house alone for a few months while looking for another place to go. He figured it would be safer without me there. During the packing and moving out of the house, my dad had some friends swing by to keep him company while he packed. Almost everyone who came by to help mentioned that they saw a little white dog walking around right where they entered the house. Yeah, that place was haunted. I still think about it from time to time. Wonder if the people who lived there now deal with the same stuff or if it's all calmed down. All right, what do you think?
Ooh, that gave me chills, the whole yanking of the leg. That
Hmm.
was a bit too much, but I think what I feel like there were several entities in there.
Hmm.
You know, I feel like the dog was more of like a protection.
Mm,
That's why the little kid never got harmed. He got scared and spooked, but he
mhm.
was never physically harmed,
Okay.
you know? Um, I think first it started out with like just joking around, like with their keys got lost. It's like, oh, you want to go out or stay in? Here, find your way, right?
Hmm.
But then I guess when the girlfriend came in, it just changed the whole dynamic.
Okay. So
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed, this person doesn't talk about the mother. So I'm assuming it's a single dad with the son.
That's what he said, right? Like he only
Mm.
mentioned him and his dad, and if the girlfriend is in the picture, yeah, I'm assuming the mother is not there. So,
Yeah,
um,
there's no mention of the mom. So I'm guessing whatever the entity was when the girlfriend came in felt threatened with a female presence. That's what I'm guessing.
but I'm glad that the father took action for his safety first once
Ex-
that happened.
Yeah,
He didn't wait until,
he put the kid first. He's like, okay, go live with your aunt. I wonder what happened to the girlfriend that night. Like, did she leave or did she stay? Like, no mention of what happened. So that would be my first question. Second question, the second thing I would say, kudos to dad for sending, the kid away from all these craziness. So he stayed alone in the house and put up with all these things. And then right away he was looking for a place to live, better place to live. So
yeah,
kudos to dad for doing that because usually we get parents are like, oh, don't worry about it, just go back to sleep. And they
yeah, it was like a
totally,
nightmare.
yeah, they totally ignore the situation. But finally dad is like, okay, we can't stay here. You know, I just love how he just asked his son on the other side of the room, are you okay? I mean, as an adult, I would do the same thing because that was like, the stomping and then the door, knocking that.
I think it was just to scare him, you know. I I also feel like I said, there are many questions, but I also feel like what if there were multiple entities and some entities didn't want them there, and
Mhm,
there were some that were protecting the father and the son. But I
mhm,
also feel like whatever entity pulled that lady, maybe she brought it in and the house amplified it. I don't know. It could be that too. There are a lot of questions that are um I wish
mhm.
I could have asked the original poster.
Well, this original poster also put a little mini stories, about the same house. So let me read that for you. Maybe it might shed some light. So my dad's girlfriend had bought a yoga ball to the house, and as a 8-year-old, I wanted to play with it all the time. She tells me I can play with it, but I have to be careful. So we lightly toss it back and forth down this hallway. And after a minute or two, I toss the ball. It freezes midair before it makes it to her and comes back right back to me. She was mortified. I was too young to realize what happened, and she didn't want to freak out her boyfriend's 8-year-old son, which is me. So she quickly just said she didn't want to play with it anymore and went to do something else. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, there were multiple spirits in that house, right?
Mhm.
So well, that's what I feel like, that there are multiple spirits in the house, and it could be just the dog. It just feels like the dog just wanted to play with them, or whatever spirit was protecting them. I feel like those friends that came over with the dad and saw the white dog, I think it was not an actual dog. It was um like something protecting the house and
Mhm.
the people inside that showed up as a white dog, but it just doesn't feel like a dog energy.
Okay. So do you think it's like a playful kind of energy too, or it's just
It it
curious?
it just felt like it was just a good energy.
Mhm.
There were those bad energies that really harmed the the girlfriend
Mhm.
and also scared the kid. Um, so because there are multiple energies there, that's what it felt like.
Hmm.
You know
Okay.
what I mean?
All right. Well, you have a story for us as well.
Yes. So this story is very short,
Mhm.
but I felt like I need to share this just to like open up a conversation and just to like think what happens in our daily life.
Mhm.
So again, this story is from Reddit. Um, I was at the shops getting something to eat. When I was leaving, I literally ran into a young man about 21 years old. I can't really explain the feeling I got. I was like it was like a spark of something. And I immediately thought, he doesn't have long to live. Naturally, I moved on with my life thinking I was imagining things. Fast forward a few months, and this young man had died in a police chase. What the hell happened when I ran into him? So, what do you think, Flo?
I think he kind of got like a download. You know how sometimes we pass people and we get that strong energy? I believe he got the download from the person's energy saying, "Oh, they don't have long because they're gonna do something, or something's gonna happen to them." Like you know how I don't know if that ever happened to you. Like when you pass someone, you kind of get the feeling with their energy, like, "Oh, this person is good," or "Watch out for this person. He's creepy," or even her, she or him, it's creepy. Stay away. They're dangerous. You know, that gut feeling that people keep on talking about. Maybe he got a whiff of that, that kind of
But I think
energy.
it was more than just a gut feeling because he got he doesn't have long,
So again, like I said,
right? Like it was a
he probably got a download somehow. Like, um,
but then I was reading in the comments, like just to curious about what other
mhm,
people thought about this post. And one of them is like, how would you, I mean, I agree with it because when I see someone,
mhm,
um, and then if I see them again, if they don't have anything like something for me to remember, I won't
mhm.
remember them. So one of the comment was like, "Oh, how do you remember it was that guy that you bumped into that was in the police chase?" You know what I mean?
That's actually a good
So,
question. Yeah.
but then on the other hand, it's like because he got such a strong download
Hmm.
and he was just like set back a little, like what happened? I
Hmm.
feel like your brain automatically would remember the face.
Or it could be like it's a small town, right? Like everybody knows everybody kind of thing. It could be also in that situation. The person didn't give too much details. It just said they bumped into the person and that's it. You know, it could
Yeah,
be that it's small town where, it's friend of a friend that you remember, or maybe the reason the person remembered is because they got the message going, okay, this person doesn't have long. So you kind of take a maybe take a look at again, try to remember this person to see if you're right. Sometimes it happens.
Has it happened ever to you? Like, have you ever like bumped into someone and you got like a strong message and you never said anything? Because there were comments in this post where they're like, dude, why
Mhm.
didn't you just like tell him? Like, or if you told him, you could have saved him. So, like, have you ever had a message where you
It
you
wasn't.
you got a message and then you never.
Well, for me, it was more like someone was pregnant. So what happened was that I was walking, and the lady, I think she was behind me. I wasn't paying attention. She came around and went around me, and I wasn't even paying attention to her. And all of a sudden, I got, she's pregnant. And I was like, from the back, obviously, you can't tell. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I think you were there. I'm not sure whoever it was. I'm like, oh, that person's pregnant. And whoever the person was with me is like, how do you know? I'm like, I don't know. I just, got that she's pregnant. So I think someone called her name. She turned around and I saw the belly. I was like, oh, I was right. You know,
Mm,
so I mean, people can chalk up to, oh, you probably paid attention to her, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, I just entered the mall. I didn't even know this lady was behind me because I was in my own
I
la
was
la
in a
world.
mall.
Yeah, it was in a mall. Like I was in my own in la la land. I wasn't even paying attention to anybody. But the sense of, oh, she's pregnant was really, really strong. It was just like, the voice in my head is like, she's pregnant. I don't know why that happened. Maybe because I was in my own la la land and I was sort of like in a different brainwave, I guess, and I just picked it up while she went around me. But that kind of confirmed that if you kind of like a radio signal, if you tune into it, you'll get the information you need,
Yeah.
you know? So
I think like at that time both of you were like in the same frequency.
probably, I mean, there are a lot of studies done. I mean, the CIA in the 50s, I think 50s or 60s, they did these kind of tests that they want psychics and, um, remote viewing and stuff like that. If they can come up with those and believe it, why wouldn't we believe this? When two people are in tune with the same frequency and they get information about each other, I mean, that's pretty cool. We all have the ability.
Yeah.
So,
True, true.
yeah.
Definitely. We all have the ability. That's how we know like if we as you were saying, like you entered the room and you get the feeling, oh, this person is not
Oh, I had tons
the
of
right.
those. Yeah, I have tons of those feelings, especially like when I used to go on orientation. Right away, I would get this feeling, oh, I'm not gonna like that person. And to be honest, I try not to dwell on that too much. I don't
Mhm.
go, oh, I don't like that person. I stay away. No, I'm civil with everybody. But after I get that feeling, within like a couple of weeks, it, I don't get along. Like, even though I try to talk to everybody, I just don't get along with that person. It usually ends up like that. Like, I know right away, oh, this person's
I
not going to
know.
be your friend. So I guess you just have to be tuned into the right frequency in order to get that. But it's kind of
That's true.
cool.
That's
I
true.
mean, to be honest, I wouldn't want to know when someone dies. That I feel like is not something I want to tune into. It's a little like finding the ending of the book. You miss
True.
you miss all the interesting stuff in between. If you only know the ending, the
Yeah,
book.
but then you don't want to tell someone that, oh, dude, you don't have long to live. And at the same time, I personally wouldn't be want to be right about that information. Like if I ever
Mhm.
get that information, first of all, I don't want to tell the person, oh, guess what? You got 10 minutes to live. I don't want to do that. And at the same time, like if that does happen,
Mhm.
I don't want to say, oh yeah, I got this message. And I mean, I don't know, it's just like you're in a position where you're like, do I want to tell this person or let that person live their life and just, again, like you said, it's if I do tell that person, it's like giving the ending of a story,
Exactly.
you know? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
I guess it depends on the person.
No, like if someone finds out that I'm gonna die tomorrow, don't tell me. Because I'm gonna be like the whole time I'll be like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Like it's like the Final Destination all over again. You know what I mean? Like I'm be so focused on how I'm going to die that I'm not gonna even realize, what I'm missing out. You know how some people go, so if I die, I'm going to do this, 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 this. No, I'll be like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. How am I gonna
I'll
die?
lock
When I'm gonna
myself in.
die? Like, oh, that's gonna kill me. That's gonna kill me. Like, I would be so worried about that instead of going, okay, this is my last day. Let me enjoy it.
You'll freak out.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd rather you not tell me when I'm gonna die and just be like, bang, that happens. You're like, I lived a good life. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to worry about anything. But
I'll
if
be
you,
like, ah, damn it, I didn't have that chocolate cake when I wanted to.
oh, that ice
That would be
cream,
my only regret. Like after I die, I find out I'm dead. I'm like, I should have had that chocolate cake.
or I should have had that sushi, the last sushi. Okay. All right. So this story actually takes in Canada. Okay.
Woohoo!
All right. So
Go Canada.
my dad's brother had a lake house far away north near the Canada border. He was also an amateur astronomer and would wake us up at like 3 a.m. to look at the Saturn's ring and stuff through the telescope. One night when I was about 15, it was hot and I couldn't go back to sleep. So I went out and sat at the dock. They had no AC back then. It was very dark, no moon, but many stars up in the sky. There was also aurora borealis too. I was trailing my hand through the water when something grabbed it. It wasn't a fish nibbling on my fingers or anything. It was an actual hand wrapped around my hand. I yanked it back before it could get a good grip, and I felt the fingers slide across my hand into the water. I
What?
sat frozen.
Did he have his hand in the water?
Yeah, that's what it looked
Oh,
like. Because
oh
this
no,
is, I
no,
was
no.
trailing my hand through the water, like they were playing with the water.
Okay,
So
okay.
I,
Oh no. Oh
yeah.
gee. That's why? Why do you come up with these stories? Oh, I just
I
got chills like my
I know.
finger.
I
Okay,
sat
go on.
frozen, too scared to move, listening to weird sounds from under the dock. I finally crawled back down to the dock to dry land. I've been swimming in that lake thousands of times, including at night, and never felt threatened or unsafe. No idea what that was about. So it sounded like it's a one-time thing, though.
I I feel like whatever it was visiting that lake,
Hmm.
you know? And then I I also feel like whatever that thing was would have pulled that person in
Hmm.
the
Maybe
water. Like if
even.
they didn't yank the hand out, it would have
Hmm.
pulled
Maybe
it
he
in.
wanted to like also make him drown because we have a lot of, I mean, throughout the years, we heard a lot of people who drown in the lake, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't explain it because the person is a good swimmer. So it doesn't make any sense. So that that is a good thing that whoever this person was moved their hand. But to be this close to the Canadian border, now that's something. Mm-mm.
Maybe it was the border patrol police too close to the border.
I know, with their mask.
Yeah, whatever it was would have taken it down in the water with it, but
Mhm,
it was a good idea. I see, that's the thing. It just gives me chills because water is another thing, like going to lakes
mhm.
and the ocean, whatever not. It just that the not knowing what's underneath. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
Um like whenever I go swimming in the lake, and if a seaweed like wraps around my leg, or a leg, or a twig, or anything that you feel like it just, I don't know, again,
Mm,
that feeling of like pulling it down, the unknown, it just, I got
mhm.
shivers. I got shivers down my spine because
Okay.
that is just like, come down with me and
Yes.
swim,
Be
oh.
my friend.
I mean, it's funny, but like, even like the feel, like, did he feel it slimy, or just like it
No, it just
glided
felt
through?
the fingers. It just, yeah. He or she
Ugh,
just felt the fingers. Mm,
oh, I can't. My
yeah, I know.
whole body is just in like goosebumps right now.
I'm surprised this person didn't scream. I would have screamed my head off. And being frozen, it's normal, but at the same time, I would be like screaming, you
I don't
know.
know if I'd be screaming. I feel like I'm like, by pulling myself away from that creature or whatever it was,
Hmm.
I would trip and fall in the water. Like, that's what I think I would do. I would not freeze. I would not scream. I'll just like try to pull myself out, but at the same time, I'll trip and like fall in the water with it. Like,
That's,
welcome myself in its territory. Here, take the whole thing. Why the hand only? You know?
I know. Take me away.
Yeah.
Gone with the water.
I would be that dumb to like escape something. I would like literally
I mean,
invite myself in there.
after that, I would not go in the dark and near the water at all.
Why though? Like, it's already, even during daytime, like in a lake, you don't know what's going on under there. Like, even if a fish goes, like, no, why?
I
Why
know,
do
I
people
know.
do this?
I don't know, maybe because they're braver
I don't know.
and maybe it
And
was
like, did that person go back again to that lake?
no, no, it didn't mention anything what happened afterwards. It's just in that period. So,
I would not. I would just fill up my bathtub and swim in it. I'm like, this is good enough for me. I'm not going back to the lake. Seriously, like, things. Oh, no. No, 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 no.
yeah, you
It
know what would be worse? If someone saw, not this person, but another person saw the hand being pulling this person and they confirm it, that's even worse. Like it happens to you, you can rationalize it and say, you know what, it's just my imagination, it's all up in my head, But if when someone confirms what you saw, that's like, man, I can't rationalize it anymore. You know what I mean? Because I had a witness. Now I have to say that happened to me. You know what I mean? I think that's much worse because at least our brain, we can say my brain kind of played tricks on, right? But then when someone goes, "Oh, I saw that hand too," you're like, "Darn it, I can't deny it anymore." I think that would have been like the next level. You're like, "Oh my God." I mean, don't get me wrong. I do believe this person because there's a lot of stories where they see a face, they see a hand or any type of body part in the water and it just disappears.
You
That
just had to make it worse, right? By saying that there should have been a witness. Like, no, it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
well,
Like, you go to lake to enjoy, not get pulled in.
just then don't try to go at night. That's my
Well,
advice.
you don't know that because, I mean, a lot of drowning happens during daytime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
True, true.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, no. Water, I love water. I love the
Mm-hmm.
lake, the beach, the sea, but just like, the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I just,
So
it just
imagine
like,
the ocean.
yeah, yeah, that's why I don't understand why people go scuba diving,
Mm,
because
that's
I,
another fear.
yeah, like the whole openness of the
Mm-hmm.
ocean, that, and you can see it, like lake,
Mm-hmm.
you can't see, something grabs you, you could be like, okay, it's seaweed, but then like there are oceans that is so calm underneath that you
Mm-hmm.
can clearly see, and I don't want to see.
No, not only that, my worst fear is I'll be left alone in the ocean underwater and nobody's there. That's
They're
when,
like, see ya.
yeah, see a sucker survive on your own. I'll be like, oh shoot. I don't know which one was up, which one is down, because everywhere is blue. I think that's one of my nightmares. It's like that's one of my fears is being left in the ocean of the unknown, dark, and there's nobody there. You know, I think I've seen too many horror movies for
Yeah,
for
I
that.
know.
All right, our next story.
Well, this is on dry land, this story. It's not in the
Woo!
lake or the ocean or anything. Um, but it's interesting. So this
Mhm.
story says, this story gives me shivers every time I think. A friend of mine invests in foreclosed homes and invited friends and family to come and take whatever you want from a home he was buying. When I got there, it was cluttered to hell and smelled awful. Food wrappers, expired milk, recipes from years ago. It was filthy. There were about 15 of us, masked and gloved, scrapping whatever we could find. But as we dug deeper into the mess, it became sad. Sentimental items started to appear, new clothes that were in gift boxes, old passports that were stamped many times over, handwritten letters, and many, many photos from the 60s and 70s. I looked over the photos and felt bad that I was scavenging what was left of this lonely woman's life. From the photos, it seems she never had kids. She was widowed for a while. I ended up being the last one in the house. The sun just set, so it was quiet and eerie being alone in the musty home. My friend was waiting outside. As I took my basket full of things I have scavenged, I felt it. A cold, tight, tingling tug at my right hand. I nearly dropped what I was holding. It really, really felt like someone tugged me back. My body buckled backward slightly. When I got home, I saw it, right where I felt the tug. Clearly a press handprint on my arm. This is not a sunburn. It never hurt, and I hadn't been in the sun at all for days. The pale pattern of a hand stayed plunged for days. I hustled to rid of the items, and only after everything was sold or donated did the handprint go. I have the picture. I'm going to send it to you right now. I didn't send it to you before. You can take a look at the picture.
It sounds like this person doesn't want, or the ghost doesn't want anybody to keep any of the items anymore. It's sort of like, as soon as you release my items, I can go to the other side. That's what it feels like so far. Sort of like, don't keep my stuff. I want to be free. It doesn't belong to you. I would rather you donate than keep anything.
But wouldn't the items go to somebody else that they're going to keep?
But then I believe the person wasn't in the house. Like whoever, see, the items would be scattered. It won't be belonging to just one person. I guess they wanted to share rather than, that just the 15 people taking stuff, or that one person, the reader or the writer, keep everything, hogging everything, because no offense, the person's house, that the person that passed away, it sounded like that person was a hoarder, just kept everything,
Yeah.
you know. So I guess they didn't want the repeated action. So they're like, okay, don't, you can't keep it. I'd rather you, give everything away. Sort of like don't turn out like me, basically. Could be in that sense. I see the picture. That looks like a very thick handprint.
Well, it looks like, I guess when the tug happened, the print stayed. Like, when you like pull someone that
I get what you
Right.
mean, but even then, the fingers itself is pretty thick. Even if you think about it, I would have assumed it's like a female hand, but the
Hmm.
way it is, it looks like more like a male, especially the palm part.
I don't know. To me, it feels like an old lady's fingerprint. But then, okay, so again, when I read the story, I was looking at the comments. Some people
Mhm.
were like, I guess the reason you got this experience is because you didn't ask for permission. The Japanese culture, where you have before you enter an abandoned house, you have to knock before you go in. Is it the I read or heard somewhere that in a culture when you enter a room or an empty house, you have to knock as a sign of respect.
Yeah, I think Japanese people are like even when you're alive or go up in dead person's house, you have to announce that you're coming into their house. It is a sign of respect. Because it doesn't belong to you, right? Like why would
Hmm.
you, because they don't want to disturb the dead or insult the dead as well as people living. So I think they have that ingrained to them that whenever whatever house that you enter that is not yours, you always say, I'm coming in or ask permission, like, oh, can I come in? I think that should be for any culture that, come into a haunted house that doesn't belong to you or like a space that doesn't belong to you, because that way you kind of disassociate, basically,
Yeah.
you know,
And
so
I
that,
also feel like those people, like when they go in the house, they should be like um announcing, not only announcing that they're entering, but also announcing with the intention like, okay, we don't mean any harm, but like, since you won't be using these items anymore,
mm,
it's best that, we take it and we would like your permission to take these items,
mhm. Well,
and
there
we will make sure that we take care of it.
Well, there
Just
are
something.
there are some ghost hunters that do that, which is very sweet of them, you know. And there are some ghost hunters that ask for permission to take pictures. That's also a good idea because you don't know what kind of entity or what kind of, forces are there that might hurt you. So I think that should be like whoever becomes a hunter, that should be one of the rules. When they enter something, they announce it. Especially if there's like what do you call like squatters living there. They kind of get a
Hmm.
warning that you're not there to harm, you're just there to take a
Well,
video.
in this story, the friend bought the house or like in
Mm-hmm.
the process of buying and they invited. So that's different. Um, so there won't be any squatters. Um, but taking those things,
Mm-hmm.
I think even if you're alive or dead, if someone just came in and start taking the, you feel violated. I think the spirit that was in that house felt
Mm-hmm.
violated. But it was interesting that like the mark didn't go away until she got rid of all the handprint didn't go away until all the
Mm-hmm.
items were sold or donated, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was very, very, very interesting. Um, but I still feel that that was very disrespectful. And if they do want to continue it, they should be out of respect, first of all, knocking and coming with intention, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, someone should have announced it. Hey, we're not trying to disrespect you. We just want to take your items, either to donate or keep if that's okay. And just wait for a sign or something. All right. Well, on to the next story that I have. Um, this is in a hospital. And you know how I feel about hospitals, so I thought it'd be a little bit creepy.
Me no
Um,
likey.
and neither do
Hospital,
I.
it just, I,
I
yeah,
think.
it's another place where I don't think it's, even though it looks squeaky clean, it
Mhm.
smells of all the chemical. I don't think like energetically it is a clean place.
It's where most people die. If you ever think about it, it's where all the trauma happens, and relatively compared to other places, hospital is the places that most people end up passing away. That or
But
hospice.
not only that, like not only you're passing away, you come in with like negative energy, you
Mm-hmm.
come in with being sick and not
Mm-hmm.
healthy and needing help. So as you leave, I'm sure there are people who are leaving those energies there and it's not being cleaned, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know in ancient practices, whenever you visit the witch doctor or the healer or the shaman, they definitely cleanse the area before and after a
Mm-hmm.
patient is brought in, right? But this is just like so um, fast turnover, and even though they're cleaning with chemicals and um, it's just not spiritually cleaned.
No, no.
It just, to me, it feels very,
Icky.
what's not really icky, it's heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very heavy and uh just, yeah, not the place to stay the longest. People
Mm-hmm.
going in, coming out, going in. It's like a revolver door.
Mm-hmm.
um that it I don't know, it is just a very heavy place to be in, compared to like if you go to a cemetery. Is just very calming,
Mm-hmm. Because you're
you
blessed
know?
before you're buried, right? There's like a
Yeah,
ceremony that happens, um, where, your family comes in, and yeah, it's sad, but you kind of like given the green light to move on. So compared to the hospital, the cemetery is not bad. The only thing you have to worry about is people, you know.
yeah. It's
People
the
is the
people who are dangerous there.
exactly, not necessarily the dead. But having said that, the funeral home is the second most haunted place, I believe, besides the hospital, because that's where the body goes. And I believe like the spirit doesn't even know they're dead at that point, most of them. And mind you, when I was looking for scary stories, most of them turn out to be funeral homes too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
But,
that's the thing. Cemetery, if you look at cemetery, it's outside, right?
mm-hmm,
It's not like closed in
mm-hmm,
or I mean, some of the places, what is it called? I forgot the name, where they leave the ashes, right, inside a building. That's closed in. But like if you look at the cemeteries, the typical cemeteries, they're outside. So it's getting cleansed by all these natural energies, right? The
mm-hmm,
sun, the wind, the water. It's being constantly being cleansed. So that's why it's such a calming place versus where like a hospital or a funeral home, again, it's closed in, hardly
mm-hmm,
any lights come in. The only thing that's in there is like the same AC air just circulating.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So there's no fresh air. Like there's nothing to cleanse in there. So
mm-hmm.
I would think that because the air is stagnant, the energy is like that too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, no offense, you don't want any like shaman or priest coming in and cleansing every single, minute in the hospital room. That just looks weird. Most people won't even enter because someone is cleansing it spiritually.
It is necessary to cleanse.
Let's move on to the story. So, one time I went to the hospital to accompany my grandmother and aunt who was pregnant. They were both there for a checkup. We also bought my aunt's youngest child, a male kid around 2 years old, during that time. While my grandmother was in the doctor's office and my aunt was talking to the receptionist, I was watching over my cousin who was playing with a little girl around the same age. My aunt returned and the kids continued playing. I didn't pay much attention as nothing out of the ordinary was happening. But I tried starting a conversation with my aunt, saying how adorable my cousin was playing with another child. And then she said, "What child?" My cousin had been playing alone, no child in sight. Okay, so now maybe there's a logic explanation to that, but we didn't speak about it until we were about to go home. We were still in the hospital. We went to the elevator coming from the third floor where the lavatory is and pressed the ground floor button. Now, here's what's weird. It took a few seconds before the door opened, which is insane because we were coming from two floors above. Then, when the door opened, we were in a place that had no lighting, just natural light from what seems like a small window on the side of the room. There was also nobody there, no sounds, which is crazy because we're in a hospital building. We didn't go out the elevator, but we looked at each other silently and then pressed third floor. Trying to go back, then it was normal again. But we realized upon getting out of the elevator that we weren't on the same floor. I immediately approached a security guard and asked, "Is this the third floor?" He asked, "Is that where you're going?" I replied, "Yes, we're trying to find the exit to the first floor." And he quickly called a nurse to assist us. We went around the room, then the nurse got us again on the elevator. Weird, right? When she pressed the same button we did as the first time, we arrived on the first floor, which is the door in front of us. We talked a little bit to the nurse, and she told us how people often get lost in the hospital. Apparently, the floor we were on earlier was going to the rooftop. So I'm guessing the elevator sometimes doesn't go on to the right floors, it just messes with them. So whoever or whatever is controlling the elevator just takes them into random floor. And it's very common, I guess.
Interesting. What do you
Mhm.
think it was?
You know, I do want to believe that story is real. I really do. I mean, sometimes it happens that we are absent-minded and you press the wrong button and then you don't even realize it, right? And then when you end up in the floor, you're like, that's not the floor I want, right? It could happen, one. But if we were to go with the fact that they did press it and they were paying attention to it, and someone wanted to go, or something wanted them to go up instead, maybe someone was messing with them because they're the only ones in the elevator. No one was there, you know? I don't know. I feel like to me, there might be a logical explanation for this story. But see, here's what I have that kind of got to me is that they found no sound when they went into the room. It was silent.
But I mean, if you're not using that floor, wouldn't would there would be no air conditioner, I mean air conditioning
In the
or
roof?
any, oh, they went all the way up to the roof?
Yeah, into the roof. That's what it says near the end, that they end up going to the rooftop. But the rooftop does make a lot of noise too. Like there should be a huge fan somewhere in the rooftop that makes
And
the
outside
noise.
noises and outside.
Yeah, but they mentioned it was
Okay.
completely with no sound and just a small little window. So, you know, I do want to believe, but at the same time, there's a rational reason.
But I'm also thinking that do you think they took that elevator and went to another dimension? Because when you watch like Hollywood movies,
Hmm.
um they always show, most of the time they show, or they get in an elevator or a phone booth to
Hmm.
like transport themselves to somewhere else.
Hmm. Well, it also
So,
could be that, they went to a floor where it's completely abandoned. There are hospitals that I've known that a whole floor is completely abandoned because they don't use that ward anymore. That could be
but then you
another.
said they went to the rooftop, right?
That's what they said. Apparently the floor that they were on, there was a rooftop, but nobody confirmed that. They just assumed based on talking to the nurse, you
But
know?
then when they say it was totally silence, does it also mean that like there's no sound from the outside world.
Yeah, that's what they just said there was nobody there, no sounds. So, first of all, I wish they would give a little bit more detail on the story,
Hmm.
right? And second of all, sometimes these kind of things can be rational. In my opinion, like I said, sometimes I go in the elevator, press the button, and I don't even pay attention where we are. You know, sometimes the elevator would go down, but I'm pressing it to go up. But I don't care. I'll take the ride. Like there are rational reasons for this, but again, it's not enough detail to say, you know, um, that they went to another dimension or things like that. I wish they explained it a little bit well,
Yeah.
what's going on. Like when I first read it, just like you, I was confused. So I had to reread it to imagine myself like where they're talking about, right? So this is one of those things that I really, really, really want to believe this is true, but there's a rationale behind it.
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So this wasn't really a spooky story because it
No.
could be it just can happen to anybody, right? Like
Yeah.
pressing the wrong button.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging with us and surviving creepy episode. If you like this episode, please subscribe and leave your comments so you don't miss the next scare. And if you got a scary story of your own and would like to share, please send us at two sisters and scary stories at gmail.com. And we might just read it in the show over here. So until next time, we'll be waiting.
In the dark.